Hi, my name is Stacy Pitts, and I'm here with Dr. Frank Michalski, who is our CBD expert. He's our go-to guy because he's been using CBD BioCare in his practice for about 3 years now,
Yeah.
and he has become an expert. He uses it with his patients on a regular basis. He has a huge focus on holistic medicine and functional medicine, and it ties into his practice beautifully. So I'm so glad to be sitting here with you today, Dr. Frank.
Good morning, Stacy. Thank you. Yes, me as well. Thank you.
Well, we're going to be talking about recovery and what CBD can do for the body for athletes. Whether you are a diehard, I'm a marathon runner, or a professional athlete, down to the person who walks just to keep the blood flowing and get their muscles moving every day. So we're really going to cover the broad spectrum, no pun intended, about how CBD can help people in terms of good health, and we're really kind of focusing on the active side of our health. So let's talk about how CBD is helping athletes before a workout, helping recover from a workout. How does the body respond to that?
Yeah, of course. Kind of being a weekend warrior myself, this was always one of the things that was extremely appealing to me about CBD oil and the idea of using it for recovery. So I think it's important to realize, and this is probably where you're going to hear most of the conversation revolve around athletes, is for decreasing inflammation and helping to decrease pain. So if we have any professional athletes watching this, or if we just have that person playing pickup, hockey, football, whatever it may be, flag football, pain is usually associated with sports. It just happens. Injuries happen. Even if it's someone who's just athletic in the gym. I know what I'm doing when I'm working out. I know how to move. Every now and then, though, I might tweak something the wrong way. So one of the biggest benefits of CBD, I firmly believe, is going to come from decreasing inflammation and helping to reduce pain. That's probably where you're seeing most athletes talk about it. We've seen major athletes now coming out and saying, listen, I'm using CBD because years being a professional athlete has really taken a toll on my body. And they're telling people, look, this is helping me a lot more than the opioids did. And I'm not getting an addiction to it. It's not ruining my quality of life. It's helping my quality of life. So from the world of a pain standpoint, I think CBD is awesome. And we're talking about, remember, both the oil that you can take under your tongue and the topical cream too. Stacy, I think we had conversations about this. Your husband, I believe, gets epicondylitis or elbow pain. I know anytime I'm in the gym doing a pressing motion because of some previous injuries I had in the past, I get elbow pain. I use the pain cream all the time for that when it comes to my athletic performance in the gym. It works really, really well. Now, people need to realize too, when we're exercising or when we're playing sports or we're physically exerting our bodies, especially if we're weightlifting, something that many athletes do, we are breaking down our muscles. We're causing little micro tears in our muscles, and then they heal and they grow bigger. That's the idea behind it. But with that comes soreness. With that comes inflammation. And what they're starting to say is, hey, it looks like CBD oil might help with some of that pain, some of that soreness. It might help with the recovery. And what athlete doesn't want to be recovering faster?
Absolutely. And we're working with Bob and Mike Bryan. They are world record holders. In fact, they have the most records for men's doubles. They're tennis players. And they were working with them because they love our products. Bob actually had a hip resurfacing surgery, and he said diet, exercise, and CBD is what got him back on the court. They're 41 years old. They're twin brothers, and they're playing at a huge tournament, like literally a record tournament this weekend, setting world records. And they say that CBD is helping them in their game at 41 because they're considered the old guys.
Yeah.
And that's what's so exciting. And they're not having to put toxic chemicals in their body. Some of the over-the-counter medications, pain relievers that we take really easily, they have a lot of side effects. And the beautiful thing about CBD is it's all natural and there are not harmful side effects. And so if you can get that benefit of an anti-inflammatory, and for a professional athlete who's really pushing their body to the limit, and if they're able to use it and get relief, and they say it's helping them stay in the game, and they're using the 500 milligram pain balm on elbows and
Yep.
knees. They're using it on hips. They're using the roll on. I mean, literally these guys are going to be at this tournament this weekend with their bags full of CBD BioCare products. And I could not be more proud to share that story, because if it's working for a professional athlete, it can certainly help you and I, who might get on the court to do some tennis. I'm so terrible at tennis. I maybe do some pickleball. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, or if that's
Yeah,
a
I know
Florida thing.
pickleball, very popular sport around here, actually.
Okay. Okay, good. So, some of that, but it's just so awesome. And I want everybody to know that there's natural products available that can help with the inflammation and the pain, that we're talking about. And it helps you stay active, right? Because so often we know diet and exercise. I mean, you see it in your practice all the time, but we know diet and exercise is critical for good health. So if we can use products that help restore and help our body recover so that we can stay active, it's going to increase our longevity. You just have to believe that's true.
It absolutely is. And to your point of restoring and recovering, let's not forget some of the other added benefits of CBD that athletes absolutely need when it comes to the improved sleep that so many people report. Remember, your body is healing, your body's releasing growth hormone and other things while you sleep. And that's ultimately what's going to help with recovery from sports performance. So I always find that to be essential. And think about the amount of athletes. We work with a lot of young individuals in our offices, high school athletes, college athletes. They're traveling a lot on these travel teams. They have some weird hours when it comes to having to take that bus somewhere, or take that long car ride. Their family and them are out of town. You have kids in sports, it can be very, very demanding on even the parents too with that sleep schedule. It gets kind of messed up and it's stressful. So from that standpoint as well too, I think we're seeing additional recovery. I love what you said about taking over-the-counter products. I hate to see it, but I cannot tell you the amount of times we have parents coming in who were told, oh, just give your kid a leave 3 times a day. They'll be fine. Do that for a few weeks. Let's see how they do. And then all of a sudden they're coming in telling us, my child's having very serious stomach issues. Do you have any ideas as to why this would be? They're asking me as a chiropractor, and I'm saying, oh my gosh, it's because you guys have been eating aspirin like it's cereal in the morning. What a better alternative it would have had been to start with some CBD cream, some CBD oil, and see if we could get the results that way. Now, another kind of darker side to sports that now we're seeing some light being shed on, and this applies to the younger athlete and the professional athlete, concussions. Concussions are a huge problem when it comes to sports. I don't need to claim that CBD is good for concussions. The government patent has a patent on it saying CBD is a neuroprotectant. And they cite things like concussion, like stroke, anything that is a traumatic brain injury. That's exactly what a concussion is. They are saying CBD has been shown to be beneficial for that. So I think it's important that people remember that one too. That's a common sports injury.
And I want to add something to that. I started carrying CBD in my sports bag when I would go to my son's baseball games, because I knew that I wanted to administer based on research. This is not Stacy Pitts. This is based on research. And what the government patent says about CBD is that I knew that if my son, God forbid, or any of these team players, and every parent there knew that I was going to do this, and I had their permission, that if there was any child that was hit in the head, or there was a fear of concussion, we were going to administer CBD immediately, because there's research that's very promising about the sooner the CBD is administered, the faster, the less harm, and the faster that they can recover. And, my feeling is we still have so much research that has to be done. But if there's even a hint or a whisper or a thought, an inclination that CBD can help with something like that, I wish every coach on the planet and every parent and every fan would have it available to where they can, it could be administered. Because if it can help because we know the damage that a concussion in a young person, what it can do. We're talking 50 years down the
Yes.
line. It increases the odds for dementia, Alzheimer's, all of these other brain disorders. So it, gosh, I'm so hopeful on what it can do.
And I think that's a great point. I can tell you from in my practice, we deal with people with concussions. We just had a EMT in the other day. She was administering insulin to someone. They shot up, or no, maybe it was Narcan. I can't remember. Someone was passed out. They shot him up with something. His arm flung, whacked her in the head, knocked her out cold. She had been dealing with concussion symptoms for a long time. We had been telling her you should really try CBD. We really recommend it. It took her a little bit to come around. And I'm telling you, when she started using it, she said, "Oh my gosh, why didn't I listen to you sooner? I would have been back at work probably she was out of work for a few months after this, months, weeks sooner if I had known about this." She was working with a neurologist. They just never had the conversation. And the saddest part was, Stacey, is we don't really know how to treat concussions right now. There is not like a great treatment protocol out there. So my point of view to her was, what do you have to lose? We're not doing anything anyways with this. Let's try this. And it wound up working well. Now, another thing too that I'll just mention as I got on the topic of concussions is CBD oil. Now they're studying a lot and this is probably more for our professional athletes, maybe our younger ones. I knew kids in high school who developed opioid problems because that was certainly a go-to prescription when I was younger. It really can help people with addiction. They're seeing this, especially with opioids. There's a lot of athletes out there, probably the more my age, 30 and up, but who have developed addictions to opioids and painkillers. And there is good research saying that people who take CBD oil are taking about 50% less opioid medication. So just another avenue that we're seeing benefit. And for the last part, you mentioned coaches. You wish every coach knew about administering this and helping with concussions. Coaches, no one talks about this, but especially among the high school coach and the middle school coach, high school more so, maybe even college level to an extent, the stress that coaches are under because of their lifestyle is actually extremely high. Their risk of heart attack related to a stressful event is very high. We treat coaches here. They are working 60, 70 hours a week. They're not sleeping. And at that high school level, they don't have a team of people to help them. They are the team. They're the defense coach, the offense coach. They're dealing with the stressed out parents. They're dealing with the misbehaved kids. They have to handle it all. So I think from even a coaching standpoint, because we're talking about sports, coaches should be aware, and quite frankly, they deserve a little more credit. I never understood it. I remember growing up talking to a high school coach and they'd be all stressed and I'd think, what's so hard about what you're doing? But now I'm really understanding it. And unfortunately, their lifestyle it's very hard for them. They really are. So I think coaches could actually benefit a ton from the use of CBD oil as well too.
Absolutely. I mean, really, we talk about this all the time. It's the stress. You've got coaches who are diehard athletes, right? They want to win. So there's stress that comes with that, and just the stress. And you've got the athlete and the anticipation, the butterflies. I mean, CBD can help the player, the coach, the parents. I mean, it really is a win-win, and that's why we do these videos, because we want people to understand how CBD is changing people's lives and it's bettering people's lives. And that's why we're advocates. That's why we do what we do, is because we are advocates for this natural supplement that we call CBD. And so that's our goal. That's our motivation. So I hope that you have found value in this video. I'm glad that you've watched it. I hope you share it with somebody that you care about and that you know can benefit. Dr. Frank, is there anything else you want to add about this?
Last thing I'll throw in there for people. If you're an athlete and you have chronic, long-standing injuries, you probably want to go with the 3,500 milligram for pain relief. If you're younger, probably starting with the 1,000 milligram, some cream, probably going to work out for you for those more acute injuries. Long-standing chronic injuries related to sports, probably want the 3,500. Younger, probably want to go with the 1,000. That's it, though.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that because people always say, well, how much should I take? The
Yeah.
other thing is there's the roll on,
Oh,
which
yeah.
everybody puts in their backpack or their purse, or just always, people that have like joint pains, muscle pains, just roll it on. If you have severe pain, you can do the 500 milligram balm and even put the roll on top. It has a cooling effect.
Yes.
You can also just use the 500 milligram pain cream. That's all Dr. Frank uses in his practice. We have some lower strength balms also, but I know you like that one
I do.
because the people that you're seeing in a chiropractor office are dealing with muscle and joint pain, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so that's what you are always recommending. So, okay, great.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Frank. I hope this has been helpful, and we hope that you start taking CBD for your athletes, giving it to your athletes, and then taking it for rest and recovery. So, thanks, Dr. Frank.
Anytime.